Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a problem and solution reading, and I have 5 card stacks for you today. I'm going to get right into introducing the stacks. For pile number 1 we have Keep On Roman patch. I think this is a iron-on patch that I got in Hawaii, and it's really cute. I love the colors. And this for pile number 2 is a Minnie and Mickey pin that is my boyfriend's. It says, "It was just grand, 1900 Park Fair." And for pile number 3 we have these 2 little Dutch people kissing. It's a little statue. It is my mom's. It is so cute. Had to use that for today. For pile number 4 we have this blue goldstone, which I actually looked it up because I was wondering if this is a crystal, and it is not. It is actually glass. I believe it's handmade in Italy or something like that. But this blue goldstone for pile number 4. And for pile number 5 we have this awesome patch that is my boyfriend's of a leopard, blue leopard. It says Mike Wilson on it. I don't actually know the artist, but I'm sure my boyfriend knows all about it. It looks like a tattoo. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the reading while you're figuring out which one is for you. The reading is going to be problem and solution. So the first cards will be the problem and the effect the problem has on you. Then the next cards will be the solution and how the solution will affect you. And then finally, we will have some additional spiritual words of advice or wisdom for the last card. And for some of these piles, a couple extra cards were pulled out for certain areas. So I guess that there was some clarification needed. Take a moment, if you haven't already decided, to shake it out, take some deep breaths, ask your intuition, can you tell me which pile? Maybe your intuition will answer with a number, maybe it'll answer with maybe one of the things that's on top here. And once you have yours selected, I will have the timestamps down below, so you can go right to the pile that suits you. If you need to, pause it, take a couple extra breaths, some deep, slow breaths, get that nervous system nice and relaxed. Get yourself a drink, and we're gonna get right into it. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose this little buffalo patch that says Keep On Roman, then this is going to be your problem and solution reading. And I want to, wow, the world right there. Want to preface this by saying that I am using the Wizard's Tarot, which is these first 2 cards. And they're not my deck, they're my boyfriend's deck. I bought them for him. And they don't come with a book. So I will have to channel these completely on my own and try to figure out what they mean. And there's pretty much no information about them online. I did look at these cards beforehand just to see if maybe I could figure out the meanings online, but there wasn't much information, so I will have to figure that all out on my own. Make sure you can see these. Okay, this first card, it represents the problem, and I think it's pretty obvious because it's the world, and I wanted to use this deck because it is depicted in kind of like a fun horror way. But if the problem is the world card, which is a card of typically very good things, but since it's in the problem spot, this would mean that you think the whole world is a problem, I would assume. You think that there's just terrible things happening all over the place, and don't get me wrong, there is, but try not to only focus on those things, also focus on the good in the world. And if you can see here, the world is divided in this, so I can imagine that you feel the world is quite a divided place. That's the problem that you see with the world, that it's people don't understand the unity and that all humans should have the same goal of thriving, surviving, loving, togetherness, unity. That's probably something that you really care about, maybe global warming and the planet and our resources and war and all of those things that happen. And I would also assume, because it's depicted with this like overlord, that you probably think there's like, these terrible greedy people. There are these terrible greedy people that are kind of in control. There's negative forces at play. I assume that's probably what you think. And I just want to say, since you got the world as your problem, it is very, very important that you try to change your perspective a little bit, I would say, because the world is not all bad. There is bad in the world, and there are terrible things, and there are greedy people, and no, we don't have that much control over these terrible things that are happening. But what we do have control over is ourself, is how we affect our community and how we treat ourselves. And if we can just add to that positive, uplifting, changing the world one person at a time, then it starts with your perspective of a more positive mindset. And I'm not saying always be positive, because that's just not possible. Like, to me, the yin and yang exist, and they are all part of the whole. And honestly, I've seen in the worst situations the most beautiful love come from that, or the most beautiful art happen because people had to go inside because of the sickness and terrible things that have been happening in the world. Good things do come out of this chaotic feeling, this negative feeling. It's all part of the whole. So I would try to change your perspective about how terrible of a place the world is, and really try, when you say something bad about the world, say maybe a solution, or like, for instance, oh, there's so much trash in the ocean, but I know of many companies that are working diligently to try to clean that up. Maybe it is possible that humans will be able to reverse the damage if we work together, if we work as small communities towards the things that we deeply care about. So that's what I think the world card means in this situation, is that you need to think of things as like solution oriented, or like the good as well as the bad. Like, this bad might be happening, and look at how people are reacting to that. Look at what can be done, and then think about also like what you can do yourself, even if that's just getting out of bed in the morning and putting a smile on someone else's face for that day. Pat yourself on the back for that. Say, I did a good job today. Even just doing one small thing has a ripple effect. So please don't think of the world as a giant problem. It's going exactly the way it is divinely planned. And sometimes that's not easy to hear when you know of the terrible, terrible things that happen. And terrible things have happened, and they will continue to happen. And that is part of the yin-yang balance on this earth. It's a fascinating balance. I believe that on other places in the galaxy, in the universes, that there are places of divine light. And I think that, seeing this Star Child card for your extra spiritual guidance, it's like, it's possible that you might feel connected to a place that was, not such a terrible place. The way that Earth is, there's a lot of bogged down energy, and that's why you're here. You're here to uplift the world and to make the Earth a better place. Like this card is saying that, like, you are a star child, and maybe you are from, a place where it's just beautiful and waterfalls and everybody works together, and maybe you are from a place like that. But I just want you to know there are places on Earth like that. That is still happening here, and you can seek out those types of communities, and you can find the beauty in the Earth. And it's time for you to get fully rooted into the Earth and do the work that you were supposed to do. And moving on to the second card, which represents how this affects you. And like I said, this doesn't have a book, but this is the Seven of Cults reversed. And cults represents coins or pentacles. And just looking at this card, I can see how it affects you. It makes you feel small. It makes you feel hopeless. Even it's saying cults. And this card being divided here, you probably feel that people are divided into these different sections. Like, I believe this, I believe that, and, different political stances, different moral stances, whatever it may be. You feel like everybody is in these different factors, and where do you factor in? Like, you feel very small, like you can't make a change. And I imagine sometimes even it makes you feel paranoid or really scared with all these eyes on you. And then the reversal of the traditional Seven of Cups actually means not seeing the bigger picture, or not seeing your future path, basically. Like, you're unable to see, because see, in this, he can see his future path, even though he's feeling small and there's all these scary people around him. But reverse, you are not able to see a way out of this scary world. You're not able to, see how the world could be a good place with all this negativity around you and feeling so small, and how you would even be able to change that. And like I said, start with bettering yourself, start with loving yourself, start with going inward, and then start with making other people smile. And then if there are certain values that you really want to change about the Earth and the world, whether that's feeding people, helping with homelessness, or, cleaning up the Earth, jail reform, whatever it may be that really matters to you, that you feel like you could start to work on. Maybe try to find something in your community where you could help, if you care about maybe drug rehabilitation, or there's so many options for helping. And even if that's just like, just giving someone a ride that's down and out, whatever it may be, do what you can. Giving someone something that you have extra of in any way that you can. Even giving people knowledge, just sharing the wealth, sharing the abundance. I think that's what you can do to feel less small, to feel less hopeless, to get out of this mindset of thinking, oh, the world is really a terrible place. And I just want to say, I've also been there. I've also, I've dived deep into, Illuminati, Illuminati stuff, and political, and you name it, just down YouTube rabbit holes, just thinking, oh my God, it's all this giant, massive plan. It's all evil and they're watching and I'm never going to get out alive. And this world really is a terrible place and children are being taken and yeah, like that's absolutely awful. I'm not denying that. It's a horrible thing that happens and there are absolutely terrible things that are happening and there are people that are in charge and using dark energies. Like this is true. This is absolutely true. But it's to focus on it that is the problem. It is to think that you have absolutely no way out because that's just not true. The way that you can help is by shining your light, is by moving past these feelings of seeing the world as a terrible place, move past that and and shine your light onto the world. And I've already touched on a lot of what you can do, but this is the what you can do section, which is action, and it's actually reverse. So for me, what I would think this means is that it's similar to what I was saying. It's like take action, but just do what you can, you know? And also, since it's the opposite of action, I would say that it's like strategic action and also a lot of rest. So, like a balance there, a huge, massive balance between taking action and knowing when you're tired, knowing when you're burnt out, knowing when you feel like the world is a bitter place and taking maybe even some mental action, figuring out the root of the problems, journaling and maybe trying to find some YouTube videos about if you're having like extremely negative thought patterns, try targeting those specific ways of thinking and looking into those. I will leave a YouTube video down below by Therapy in a Nutshell that I just watched about overcoming like black and white thinking and overcoming different forms of like pain, like feeling guilt for things that you shouldn't be feeling guilty for and things like that. But I just want to put a couple videos down below in case they would help you. Otherwise, I'm going to read this card in the reversal and see what it says. Okay, the reversal of this card says, action is the accelerant that ignites your desires. But when this card is reversed, you may find that something is missing in your determination or your follow-through. Perhaps you've been engaging in more wishful thinking than any consistent effort. Or perhaps you need to make some adjustments in what you're paying attention to. Create a structured plan, and then make sure you take daily action. This will move you closer to your goals. Be flexible yet persistent, and ever conscious of your ability to act on your own behalf. Affirmation. I am responsible for my own life. I take action towards my goals and my own happiness every day. I thought it was really interesting that it says, perhaps you need to make some adjustments in what you're paying attention to. I absolutely agree. When I was only watching videos about scary things or, only watching the news and only keeping up to date on subjects that were really, really negative, like always checking in every day, I was just so scared. I lived in a state where I felt like this, small and I felt watched. And it's not healthy to be taking in just negative streams of media all of the time. Like if you have to, shut your phone off, shut your TV off, and maybe even the boredom will make you think of something new or maybe do some art or something like that. It might change your perspective just to sit and try to think of something else to do rather than take in that type of content. And even if aren't taking in that type of content, I understand that you hear about it on maybe even on Facebook. You're just scrolling and you see things. Maybe you see things about the pandemic, or you see things about, you know, political stuff or anything like that, the war that's going on, anything like that, it might be time to just, you know, maybe even turn off your phone. And I think it's also really important that you get clear with your values, get clear with what matters to you, and then think about the ways that you can take action. Break it down into smaller steps. Like, look up and think about what is in your area, that relates to things that matter to you, and become a part of those communities. It will make you feel inspired. It will make you feel like you're doing something important. Also, with this card being below the keep on roaming, and there's like the horses running and the buffalo keep on roaming, I think that, you know, it's possible maybe you need to take an adventure, take action in that way. Maybe go on the road, maybe move. Either way, some sort of movement. Even though this is reversed, you know, maybe a time of relaxation and rest happens first, but keep that in your mind to maybe just go out and go somewhere, go be in tune with nature, and it might bring you out of, you know, this world of thinking about how terrible of a place the world is, and, you know, consuming maybe media that talks about how the world is a terrible place. And, you know, actually look at the nature around you and say, wow, the world isn't such a terrible place. Like, wow, look at these animals outside. Look at these plants just growing and thriving. Like, maybe I was wrong, you know? Maybe the world isn't such a terrible place. Maybe there's a lot more going on that's not shown in media. And maybe, you know, change what you watch. Like, maybe start watching just documentaries about nature and things like that. And definitely getting a sense that you should reach out to your community, especially because this next card, the effect, is the Three of Pentacles, and that's people working together. I would say definitely in like a crafty way, in like an artistic way, maybe even in a business way, because it's the Three of Pentacles. But and Pentacles represents money and abundance. But it doesn't have to be a business, you know, it can also just be feeling extremely abundant. Let's say you were working at a food bank or something, like that's not making money, but it just makes you feel abundant because people are working together. They're weaving what they know with each other, and they're working together to make the world a better place. And it starts with you, and then you can move on to just a few people, and those few people will have their circle, and the circle gets bigger, and the world becomes a better place. It's not too late. There, you know, you can still have hope. The world can be a beautiful place. I know sometimes it feels awful because there are so many terrible things, and it's not like I don't see them. I see them, I acknowledge them, I understand that they're bad, and I know that bad things happen. And I just try to also see the good in life. I try to see, like, this card is like art. I try to keep a lot of artists in my feed. I like to share artists' posts. I like to share poetry. I like to share things that inspire me artistically, that inspire me, talking about how the world can be a better place. You know, you can talk about things that matter to you on the internet. Like, I often do say about how like our government overlords, you know, can be so manipulative. They don't care about our health. They don't care about us pretty much at all. We're just a number. And it does feel like a scary place. I don't feel like we're taken care of by our government, but I do think that we can be taken care of by our community. I think that the community that we build can be like our safe haven. And it's important to get out there and build that community, because you will see after you take this action, relaxation, maybe taking trips, cutting out certain medias and things like that, you will see that on a smaller level, when you're not looking at the whole world and you're just with your closest people, that wow, the world isn't such a bad place. Look, we're smiling. Look, we're working together. Look, we're making something beautiful. It's so magical. We're weaving something together and we can show it to others and it will light them up. And that will happen for you. You will see that. You will see that the world can be a beautiful place, that people can work together, that people do love each other. I'm going to read this out of the book. Working with others gives us with the opportunity to learn from another and to blend energies to create something totally new. Look for conscious collaborators as mentors, apprentices, or both. Co-creating together is for the good of the whole. Co-creating together for the good of the whole is powerful magic, and this teamwork and community card calls you forth to add your unique essence to the bigger picture. Remember that your relationships are the base of your well-being. If you are having trouble with others, seek to align goals in order to cultivate peaceful unions. Mutually beneficial relationships place equal importance on each person's novel wisdom and way of being in the world, regardless of relational hierarchy. Everyone has something uniquely enchanting to bring to the table. When life paths are entwined, strive to create harmonic states as you weave your way in and out of one another's days. Welcome people into your heart and open doors of possibility that didn't exist before. I step into the vibration of conscious collaboration. Yes, step into that vibration. Step into the vibration of collaboration, and you will see that you are not so small. You will see that your weaving can go so far. It can travel the whole earth and even beyond. Star Child, it can travel so far. It can reverberate throughout the entire universe when we are good to others. And that's just being nice. That's just having love in your heart for others, not closing yourself off from the whole world. When you view the world as a bad place, it closes you off. When you see that there are communities out there that will work with you and make beautiful things happen with you, you will see that the world is a really beautiful place and it's not a problem. It has problems. It has problems that small communities can fix together. And there is hope. Going to move on to the final card, which represents any additional messages from spirit or any additional spiritual messages. The light of the stars exists in you. The earth wants you to share that light with humanity. You are asked to understand that you are meant to be here, that you have spiritual work to accomplish. Give up the idea that you belong somewhere else, to another home in the stars. Instead, let starlight of your inner being shine here on earth, where it shall make such a positive difference in the world. Fall in love with the earth's beauty. She can and will support you in all ways. Just as I said, they want you to shine your light. They want you to work with other people. They want you to travel and see the nature and the mountains and the grasses and the trees and see that the world is a beautiful place, just like the stars. And if you look up at the sky, you will see that the view from here is quite beautiful too. Let me read this last part too. As a star-seeded being, you have special resources for your journey here on earth. Your every spiritual request and need will be met by a loving team of helpers. You get to have a lot of fun in your healing mission if you choose. It doesn't only have to be hard work, though of course sometimes it will be. Just remember that the stars shine with joy in the sky, and that you can shine as a star with joy upon the earth. This is your nature. This is how you can best fulfill your life's mission. Wow, that's magical. And I just want to say that since I do believe that the earth, the world, and everything, and all universes, and the totality of everything that's ever existed is one, so I do believe that any single person is a star child. Every single person is a star-seeded being, because we've all lived star lives. There are people that maybe don't want to open up to this idea. There are maybe people that aren't interested in those types of things, and that's okay. And that's only my belief. If you want to say that's not your belief, and you don't believe that people live many lives, or you don't believe that we are all one, that's so be it. But that is what I believe, and I wanted to tell you that in case that's something that you've thought about but you weren't sure. I can tell you that this is a message to let you know that yes, everything is one. At least in my eyes, that's how I view it, and viewing it that way has helped me greatly. It has helped me to understand that each person is just a piece of the puzzle, and they have a lot to teach you. There are lessons to learn in daily life. There are things that you can go back on and say, ask the divine, why did you show me this? Why did I have those emotions? And work through those, maybe journaling them out. But either way, it lets you know that they're just little pieces of you, and you're little pieces of them, and it's all little pieces of the whole, and it feels right to feel that way. At least for me, it does. It feels right because I know that we all have the same mission together. That in my heart, my mission is to make it a better place for everyone. And I think underneath it all, they probably all have that mission inside of them. Maybe it's not awakened yet, but I feel that we are all one, so they probably have the same mission deep rooted inside of them too. Maybe people are lost on this journey of making the world a better place, and remembering that they are divine, and that there is magic, and they can ask for help. But the world, it can be a beautiful place. It can be a beautiful place with the help of star children that have been rooted here in order to shine their light, let people know that healing is possible. And yeah, you're going to have to see the ugly in the world to see the beauty in the world as well, because that's just what this earth is about. That's what this place is. And that's okay. It's an acceptance. It's understanding that you don't have control over everything on the whole world, but you have control over yourself. And you can choose every day to shine your light out into the world, to work on projects with others and make them feel good. Just really make people smile. Maybe make people smile with your art, your creativity, your passion for helping the world become a better place. As I was saying before, when we believe the world is one, we don't take the things that people say so personally. We just see them as like lessons. And we just see them as mirrors and ways we might be able to better ourselves, or ways that we can not do things in the future or something like that. There are things to be learned. There are emotions to be worked through internally for you, I think is something also important. Because I don't think that you're going to be able to shine your light if you are having some extremely dark thoughts like this. So ask yourself, why? Why do I feel this way? What is blocking me? Is it because I can't see the balance, that I can't see the good? Why don't I see the good? Whatever it may be, ask yourself the right questions. Maybe journal it out. Maybe you'll just receive replies. Either way, figure out the root of those issues. Figure out what really matters to you so you can start working to make those goals happen and make the world a better place. And I think that is everything that I have for you today. I'm actually going to put the invocation here. If you want to maybe pause the video and screenshot it, you can say that out loud for the Star Child card, or you could keep that somewhere that you maybe want to say it at night. Either way, I think that's everything I have for you, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope that this reading resonated for you. I thought it was a very fascinating one that I definitely can understand, because I've felt this card and this card before, definitely, especially when I was really into watching videos about like the Illuminati and the Freemasons and stuff. So I can definitely understand why you might feel this way. And just know that the world is a good place. There is good in the world, there is bad in the world, and there is good in the world. And it's really nice to focus more of our efforts on the good, focus on the solutions. And I'm going to leave all of the decks that I used down below, as well as my tip information and my Amazon wish list. If you do contribute, it is very appreciated, definitely not necessary. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe. And I think that's everything. I absolutely love you. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose this little Minnie and Mickey button, then this is going to be your reading. And the first card will represent the problem. And this is the effect. Everything is fine. This is the solution. And the effect, blossoming abundance. And wisdom of the divine feminine. I feel like this one's supposed to be upright. Okay, starting with the Ace of Swords reverse. Okay, so the reversal of this says overanalyzing, getting stalled out or stuck, clouded judgment, keeping the truth inside. Let me read this card. Massive clarity is on the way. A new door is opening for you, often unveiling a life-changing idea or spiritual breakthrough. Expect an aha moment of lucidity to pierce your awareness and to reveal a totally fresh version of the future. As this essence spirals into comprehension, use this time to see things as they really are and to tune into new beginnings. The quiet insight of the unconscious mind is being made available for you, so you may experience a rapid expansion as your conscious mind integrates this newfound information. Know that nothing can compete with fierce rays of wisdom and truth. So if you are finding yourself with clouded judgment or with stalled thinking, it's time to seek the brightly lit energy of honesty. Gather your discernment, your intellect, your logic, your insight, and clearly communicate the truth that is bubbling up to be witnessed. I experience brilliant moments of clarity. So the problem here, it says, is that you feel either that your intuition is clouded, like you have a clouded judgment, or you're just stalling. Because the Ace of Swords upright, it typically means like, yeah, like a bright new idea coming to you, or just thoughts clearly flowing to you. And the reversal of this would be that you feel all over the place. Basically, you feel like you can't get your thoughts straight. It also said about not speaking your truth. That would be the problem as well. And it already told you a couple ways to change, was to communicate the truth that is bubbling up to be witnessed. So that's already something that can be done. But I think we've understood what the problem is here. It's clouded judgment, and kind of just the thoughts might be spiraling. I'm seeing a spiral. You might be spiraling on the same thoughts over and over, not being able to get past maybe certain emotions. Maybe you need to work through those a little bit further, or just seeing things with a negative outlook. It said possibly just not seeing the bigger picture. So yeah, it sounds like you're overanalyzing certain things, and probably trying to skip over what actually, the lesson that actually needs to be learned there, and just try to move on without doing maybe some deep shadow work. And the way that it's affecting you is pretending everything is fine while you're sitting there feeling hurt, probably just scrolling on your phone. That might be one of the things that is hurting you, is your phone. It's keeping you from having clouded judgment. I know I do that. I literally sit on my phone all day, and I hate it sometimes. I'm like, I gotta just turn this off. Like, so you're definitely not alone in that. I mean, this society has made us like reliant on our phones, and it can be a real escapism tool to just sit there and scroll. There might be things you want to say to certain people. You might be feeling very hurt by certain people, or there might be things you really want to get done. And you're just waiting for that like aha moment of motivation. But I'm here to tell you that motivation comes from doing, and then the motivation continues after you first get over that first hump of actually doing. And if that means, doing something really small, even like putting your makeup on for the day, or washing 2 dishes, and then patting yourself on the back, like, at least I did something today. Like, that actually felt good. I wanted to do something, and it made me feel better. And then you'll notice that actually, since you rewarded yourself with a positive mindset, that you'll want to do more things. You'll want to get out, and you'll notice the aha moments of clarity happening. And I would also recommend connecting to the divine, because when you're in flow states, and you're asking to be in flow with a higher level of consciousness, with this light coming here connecting, when you ask for that, you'll know just what to say, just what to do. You'll have these moments of clarity. So that's another option for helping you. We haven't even got to this card, but I think we've understood the problem here. The problem is clouded judgment, overthinking, and the way that it affects you is probably kind of pretending like everything's fine when you know it's not, and probably a lot of avoidance, and probably a lot of hurt, and just feeling very, like, you probably feel like you are lazy when you're not lazy. You just don't know what to do with your time sometimes. And definitely being more connected, and asking for help, asking for divine help, and saying, what should I do next? Asking your intuition, what should I say to these people so I can set these boundaries so that I don't get hurt in the future? what can I say to these people to let them know that they did hurt me, and I'm not going to stand for that. And it's you know, I'm overthinking about this one certain event because maybe I haven't said what I needed to say about it, or maybe I'm overthinking on this one certain event because I haven't got the words out on paper in my journal about the emotions that I felt that day, or what can be done in the future, or noticing patterns on when certain things are happening. Why did it happen? Ask yourself, why did that happen? And just keep asking why until we get to the root, of the problem. And moving on to what you can do, it says change your perspective. So I think that's really important. The first reading also, a lot of changing your perspective about thinking that you're no good, or thinking that the world's a bad place, or things like that, and saying, wow, there are good parts of me. I make mistakes sometimes, I'm only human. Or, yeah, there are terrible things going on in the world, but you know what? There's art happening. There's people trying to clean up the planet. There's people doing really important things that show that there is love and care in the world, even on a very small level. And I think that this card also talks about, for the ritual in it, it talks about, I'm pretty sure, trying to see the world through like a higher perspective, maybe even trying to tap into animals' perspective. And a journaling's definitely coming through strong. So if there was a certain animal you feel connected to, maybe you want to journal about your experience through their eyes, what their divine wisdom has, because each animal has its own divine wisdom and its own connection that you can connect to. And also changing your perspective, like I said earlier, to be divinely connected. But you might want to try to journal from a higher perspective. You might want to try to journal from, maybe set a timer for 7 minutes and say, what does my higher self have to say to me? Or if you believe in God, or if you believe in deities or anything like that, you can say from a higher perspective, what does the Buddha have to tell me? Or you could even do it in a different way. What does this trauma have to tell me? What does this pain I'm feeling? What does this fear I'm feeling have to tell me? Ask yourself, what does it mean? What purpose does it use? Can I change the way that I'm thinking for the future? Can I think about my values and think about what really matters to me? Hold the card in your hand and think of a problem, conflict, or issue you're currently working through. Set the intention to draw a card that will help you approach this issue from a different angle, so you can see both the issue and the solution in a new way. Shuffle or fan the cards out and draw whichever one feels right. So it's asking you to pull another card. I think I will use the same deck. And it's saying to hold the cards in your hand and think of the problem so you can find the solution. So the problem is lack of focus. The problem is overthinking. The problem is not having a clear headspace, I would say. And the way it's affecting you is avoidance, so that would be a problem as well. And all the hurt that you're feeling. But starting with the overthinking, let's pull a card that will help you with your overthinking, and possibly also with having a clear mental state. Work together. Wow. Yeah, so change your perspective and work together. So work Work with someone to help you. You can't do it all alone. Reach out to others for help and talk about the emotional states that you've been feeling. It says get organized. That's so funny. Get organized. You need clarity. You need focus. Then get organized. It says if you've ever had a mouse infestation, you know just how destructive a little mouse can be. When you're aware of her presence, you keep dry goods in glass jars and tuck cookies into the oven instead of leaving them out on the countertop. Papers are properly filed instead of left in open boxes in the attic, and grass seed is stored in bins instead of bags. Once your home is yours again, slowly but surely you'll use the habits that kept the mouse at bay, and so the cycle begins again. When we lose things repeatedly to the mouse, it is often through carelessness and moving through life just a little too quickly. Sometimes it's because we don't actually realize what we care about until mouse has nibbled the only surviving photograph of great-grandma Jane. Let mouse teach you to slow down and to get organized. Take care of what you love, and if you don't love it enough to take care of it, let it go. Create cyclical and ritual times to sort your stuff. The beginning of spring and fall are traditional. Use this as an opportunity to clear out clutter, get organized, rescue great-grandma Jane's photo from the box in the basement. So, that's another way to help you, thinking with a different perspective, working together, and also making sure that your house is very organized. It will help you have a clear mind. That is definitely a solution to a lack of focus and maybe overthinking about certain things. Maybe overthinking about all of the work that you have to do it one step at a time, ask for help from others. Change your perspective and saying, oh my God, I have so much to clean. Think, wow, when I get the bathroom done, I'll feel so much better. It will look so clean and everybody will be so happy. And it'll make me feel good. And when you have those goals of happiness to attain, rather than beating yourself up, oh, this is terrible, why can't I ever think properly, why is my brain such a messy place, and I can't seem to get off my phone, why can't I just do what I need to do? Think, it's gonna feel great. And if you really feel like you can't do it alone, ask for a friend to just sit. I know that helps me so much when I have a friend just sit and talk while I go through my stuff. And it will help you clear out your mind. That is the solution to having a very messy mind space, is to have a clean house and a clean space around you, because your external world is a direct reflection of your internal world. So if you can clean up your external world, then you can clean up your internal world while you're doing that. And you'll find that it's a very spiritual and emotional experience sometimes to go through every single thing you own. And I do recommend, like it said, doing it multiple times a year, keeping up with it, and always trying to figure out what matters most to you, and leave the rest behind. And I think that's everything for what you can do about this problem, and what's going to happen when you do change in these ways is blossoming abundance. How wonderful is that? So with blossoming abundance, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen to you when you follow these steps, changing your perspective, at least attempting to try to change your perspective, and asking for help, and organizing your house, figuring out what matters most to you. You will notice that you feel very abundant. Probably going through your items, you'll realize how many things you have that you care about. And you'll feel abundant because somebody will come over and help you. Maybe even if you get clear and focused on your ideas, you'll be able to achieve some goals financially. You'll be able to achieve some goals career-wise, maybe even business-wise. And your brain space as well, this card talks about that. It will feel like a garden. I mean, look at this card as well. It will just be, you will feel abundant. This is what you will feel like. It will feel clear, like the opposite of what you were feeling before, where your brain space is calculations and spiraling and dark thoughts. That's what this is reminding me of. Like, it's just, you know, this is what your brain space will be like when you clear out the energy of your house, when you reach out to your friends, when you change your perspective about the negative ways that you think, when you change your perspective about different events that happen to you to try to figure out what you can learn and what you can do going forward, working through different emotions and asking why, then you will find that you are an amazing person and that you deserve abundance, and you are in fact already abundant, and that you are a caring person, and that your brain space can be a brain space of peace. It doesn't have to be hurt. It doesn't have to be sharp in your brain. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be spiraling. It can be light. It can be beautiful and magical, and you can work well with your brain. You can, when you figure out that you and your thinking patterns are causing a lot of the problems, you realize then, wow, I can fix this. This isn't necessarily an external problem. I'm sure that there are people stabbing you in the back at times. But when you find out that you have so much power to change the way you think, you have the power to change your perspective. You have the power to say, wow, I'm really good because I did that, even though it was a small thing. You know, you say, I'm going to turn off my phone because I really want to finish this piece of art, or I really want to meditate, or I really want to do something to better myself right now. And you do it. And one little step at a time, your mind becomes such a beautiful place, a pretty place, because you put in that work. You put in so much work. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes noticing. The first step is noticing that you're spiraling, noticing that your mind isn't clear. And you probably already noticed that. And that's the first step to changing, to bettering yourself. So noticing that you are having thought patterns, thought loops, or, you know, a lot of negative thoughts, or just a lack of focus in general, then you know that you can change that. You know that you have the power to change that. And it's probably not even as hard as you think, actually, because when you start journaling, or you find this modality, you know, maybe you talk back and forth to yourself in your head, or you clean through your house and work with friends and talk about different things that happen to you because of items you have, and like that sort of energy, one step at a time, you will feel so good. I promise, that is what's coming to you. You will feel amazing. And I wanted to move on to the wisdom of the divine feminine, which this card represents additional spiritual advice. And I think I'm going to read this out of the book, but I did want to say that to me, the divine feminine is that loving, nurturing side, the side that can create beauty in the world. And you will find that you can create beauty in the world, and that you can find a clear and focused mind. Like, look at the difference in the beginning and the end. It's like your mind is all spiraling You're inside of your mind, and in the end, you're glowing. The light is shining all around you, and flowers are flowing from you. And same with this as well. So it's definitely good news. It's definitely good news. If you make these changes one step at a time, you will see the blossoming abundance. Okay, let me read the beginning of this Wisdom of the Divine Feminine card. Divine Feminine wisdom empowers you to grow into your vision, your dreams, and the fulfillment of your life purpose. Perhaps you envision a very different life for yourself to what you are experiencing now. This wisdom reminds you that you can experience even the most extraordinary dreams as a reality if you are willing to grow into what you desire, to become what you seek. Surrender any plans about how you can best manifest your dreams, and instead allow life to guide and nourish you through your experiences each day. The universe supports your divine destiny and is helping you become all that you are meant to be. Wow. Oh my God, that really sums up everything, doesn't it? Because it's saying that you don't need to worry about how you're going to get the things done that you need to get done. All you need to worry about is being in tune with the present moment. That's it. Because when you ask for divine helper and intuition to speak with you in a moment, it will tell you what to do. Like, it told me to get these cards out and do this type of reading. Like, that's how I do everything on a daily basis, is because I am connected to the divine. And every single person can be connected and fully asking for that guidance through the divine. That is what I'm here to tell people, is that they are capable of feeling the exact same way that I do, being divinely guided. I don't worry that I'm doing the wrong thing. I know that I'm always asking if I'm doing the right thing, and they're always telling me what to do next. And if there's no answer, then I can relax. Like, you don't have to be doing stuff all the time to feel like you're reaching your goals. This really sums up like the unfocused feelings and the thoughts of overthinking by changing your perspective to realize that you are divinely guided, that just flowing with the moment, you will be able to achieve your wildest dreams. Yes, there's putting in work, but you can be told to put in that work. Like, right now, I'm putting in that work I was told to put in. If you want to change something in some way, you can ask, how should I do this? What is the first step? You can be guided. All you have to do is ask. And that is really magical. I think it's really important that it said, surrender any plans about how you can best manifest your dreams, and instead allow life to guide and nourish you through your experiences each day. So important. Surrender any plans about how you can manifest your dreams. You don't need to say it has to be like this, it has to be like this. You can just say, I want to be happy. How can I be happy today? And then the universe will give you happiness, and you will be nourished through that experience. And no, you won't be happy every single moment of every single day. There are negative emotions and negative feelings to work through. But maybe that's even something you have to do to become happy. Like, maybe the universe will tell you, you need to do this shadow work. You know, that thought you've been spiraling on? Let's work through it. Let's ask the whys. Let's journal it out. Let's write it down. Let's think about it. And even talk to a licensed professional if you have to, or if you want to. And I'm going to put the invocation on the screen. So if you want to screenshot that, then that is going to be there. And I think that is everything that I wanted to say to you today, pile number 2. This was an awesome reading. I hope that it resonated for you. And I'm going to leave all of the decks that I use down below, as well as my tip information in my Amazon wish list. It is very appreciated if you contribute, definitely not necessary. And if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose this little Dutch statue, then this is going to be your reading. And I'll get right into the problem. The problem is the Knight of Wands. And the way it affects you is the Ten of Wands. The solution, find your way home. The effect, movement. And flip that one. Trust in the plan for your final spiritual guidance. I'm going to pull out the book for the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands to me means taking action, going off on a journey, typically a creative journey, or maybe like something is sparked inside of you. And in this card, it shows like a battle, you know, with a dragon to fight in the future. Or, you know, knowing that you're going to have this huge mountain to climb and this massive beast to fight. Maybe this can be even in your mind. Most of the time, the Knight of Wands shows up in a reading to represent someone else in your life. A son or a young and adventurous friend or lover. If so, his presence is probably a good thing, as long as you're not being swept all willy-nilly with his passion. Sometimes the Knight is an indication that it is time for you to take action. No more planning or thinking things through. Just move forward in the direction you know you want to go, but be aware that there may be dragons at the end of your journey. So I would say, you know, there's two options here. There might be a person in your life that maybe you're getting swept up into their adventurous ways, and maybe it's not so good for you. Or the other option, which I think is more likely, is that you've been planning a lot, and you see you're looking at this massive mountain you have to climb, and you have this maybe you even know that there's going to be a big dragon at the end. You know, so maybe this is a mental battle trying to unpack trauma, or maybe this is cleaning the whole house, or looking for a new house, or whatever is some massive thing that you have to deal with in your life. You know, that's a problem for you. You've been mostly just looking at the problem or thinking about the problem, but not necessarily taking action on the problem. And that in itself is a problem, to not take action when the action is needed, or to overplan or overthink. The reading before this was also about overthinking, so it is very possible that these could be connected, because I would definitely say that it's possible that maybe you're looking at your problems. Let's say it was like unpacking trauma. You're just looking at this problem like, this is such a giant mountain and such a massive problem that I may as well just think about how it could be done, or maybe just look at the problem from a distance like, oh, that is a problem, you know, and not actually maybe reach out to professionals or figure out modalities and ways and tools that can help you in your a different way of thinking. And this could also be an actual physical problem that you have to deal with. But the actual problem with this said other problem, this mountain and dragon, is that you are not taking action on climbing the mountain. You are not getting to the top to deal with the root of the issue. You're just kind of viewing the problem in itself. So whatever this problem may be in your life, whether that's not being happy in your job, relationship, whatever problem it possibly could ever be, the problem that I'm seeing is that you are not actually working on the problem. And the way that this affects you, the Ten of Wands is, maybe this isn't now, but it probably is now. It's just absolutely a massive burden on you. You can really see what this girl looks like. She's carrying so much because you're not unpacking this problem one step at a time. You end up either later down on the road, probably both, later down on the road, and right now feeling very overwhelmed, extremely overwhelmed. You see the mountain, you see the dragon, you're so overwhelmed. You can't see how to take one step at a time to unpack these problems. Like put in one application for a job, or put in one application for a house, or, maybe reach out to your insurance to figure out what kind of different medical professionals they accept, or just what the first step, the very first step at this problem that you're dealing with. It makes you feel extremely overwhelmed, extremely overburdened, just knowing that problems exist that you have to deal with. You feel very weighed down. And then in the other way that I interpreted this, that let's say you were like swept up with some magical guy and maybe he isn't the best for you. This is for very specific people. Probably it's the other way for most everybody else. But for a very specific person, you're probably like swept up with some guy and he's very adventurous and he's probably not good for you. And he leaves you feeling very burdened and very, maybe you have to clean up after him, or you have to deal with all the difficult parts of life, and he's just getting to have all the fun, and you have to carry around all that weight. So that's how that's affecting you if it were to be interpreted as the problem of being a specific person. Either way, you're feeling extremely overburdened. You're feeling like you can't carry it all. You're feeling like you can't climb up this mountain. And maybe if you just set down a couple of those brooms, put those tasks in a more organized manner, put them one step at a time rather than carrying it all around, unpack it one small step at a time. She's climbing the mountain in this. I find it so funny. When you're procrastinating and thinking and over planning, then it leaves you later to just be carrying all this mess up the mountain when you didn't have to do it that way. And let's see what you can do about this, even though I've already touched on that a bit. It says, find your way home. Turquoise. When the ancients looked at turquoise, they saw the endless blue of the sky, and yet this sky stone was birthed from the belly of the Mother Earth, and so speaks of balance, wholeness, and the knowledge of totalities. Turquoise helps us to reclaim what's gotten lost or left in the sky, the parts of ourselves endlessly traveling the spirit realms because they feel unsafe in a body or unwanted in our skin. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, your toes anchored in the dirt, and your head lifted towards the heavens. Picture the color of turquoise, a mottled blend of earth and sky. In your heart or with your voice say, I call myself home to myself. Repeat this as a mantra, meaning it with your entire being. Journal on the images or body sensations you have, allowing your thoughts to flow and unfold. What is possible when you release guilt and fear so you can examine all aspects of your desire? What happens when you accept that your tensions and desires that seem to conflict can be used to create balance? So I would definitely consider that. It seems like, pieces of yourself have been left all over. You feel overburdened and you feel like you have so much to do. You just feel like there's so many tasks at hand, and unpacking things might be like a giant mountain. And you have the power within you to get through this. You have the power within you. And maybe you don't have the power within you right now because so many little pieces of yourself have been left all over. And you've been like this for a while, you carry a lot of burdens. You carry things with you. You keep them with you. You keep these old negative thoughts, and you just keep them with you. But if you call back the strength, the parts of you that are strong, you call in your higher parts of yourself, and you call in your more grounded parts of yourself, and you bring them all home, you will have the power. If you ask to let go of certain things, if you say, how can I work through this? Journaling definitely coming in strong. How can I get through it? What was I supposed to learn from this? What did this emotion mean? What did this thing that happened in my life mean to me? How did it affect me? What can I do in the future? Actually asking yourself some difficult questions, it can help you let go of those brooms, those wands. It can help you let go of all of that burden that you're carrying around. And the way that it's going to affect you, once you call yourself in, once you find your power, once you get to the root of some issues, once you organize and maybe make lists of things in a broken down manner, maybe have a 5-month plan, something like that, then the way that that's going to affect you. And once you call yourself in to actually do the practice of grounding yourself to the earth and to the sky and calling yourself home, say, I call myself home to myself, and bring yourself in, bring your power back in, you're going to find that you are so strong that you probably are, it's possible, going to find a lot of strength in yoga. If that's something you're interested in, it will make you feel centered. It will make you feel balanced. It will make you feel like you did something good for yourself that day, that the mountain isn't so big, that you're strong enough to handle it, that you can let go of certain things. You can even let go through yoga. But another way that this is going to affect you is, it's saying movement. It's possible you're going to exercise more. It's possible that you're going to, something that's coming through strong is that you're going to do things that you want to do, relaxing things, time for things that you're going to make time for, things that you've been putting off, things that you've been wanting to do for yourself. Yeah, so it says, just like I said, doing something for yourself, it says yoga, walking, qigong, rock climbing, running, or swimming, whatever suits your taste. You're going to find a movement practice that makes you feel in tune with your body, and you're going to be moving in a supportive way and feeling present inside of your beautiful and miraculous body. And you're going to feel home in your own body. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to do things you want to do. You're going to have the time. You're going to feel like you can. You're going to actually notice, one thing I want to say is that you might have so many things to do in the day, and you feel like you don't have time for that, or you don't have time for something good for yourself, or exercise or meditation, but you do have time. I forget who said it. I think it was the Buddha that said, I can't remember if it was the Buddha, but I think it was, said that if you can't meditate for 30 minutes, you don't have enough time to meditate for 30 minutes, then meditate for an hour. And I think that's so funny. It's so true, because it really is true that the more we feel like we don't have time, the more we should be slowing down to realize that we can make that time for ourselves, and then we go forward to tasks with an open heart and a clear mind when we actually pour into our cup and we center ourselves, we bring ourselves home. We'll make that time. You'll make that time for yourself. You'll let go of all of this burden, and you'll be glowing, you'll be radiating. And I think that that's everything I wanted to say for this card. And finally, moving on to the final spiritual advice. Trust in the plan. Yeah, I think that couldn't be more clear. It's that if you feel like you have this giant mountain of problems on the outside or inside, or even both, and you're feeling all this burden, know that you are divinely protected. That truly, I know it sounds crazy, but this was the plan for you to experience these feelings, so you know how to deal with them in the future, so you can help others that have experienced these feelings, so you can go forth and be empathetic towards people that have dealt with what you have dealt with, and so that you do know how to center yourself, how to get through difficult times, unpacking maybe trauma, dealing with very difficult situations like not knowing where to live or something like that. Just trust in the plan. Know that if you needed a place to live, you would find a house. And if you needed people out of your life, they would leave your life. And if you feel overburdened and you ask for help, that the help is there. And that you will be able to release all this burden, and you will be able to get to do what you want to do. Trust in that plan. In preparation for radical growth, there can be temporary disorder and chaos. While the mind may worry that something is going wrong, the spirit knows that this is a way for the old to disassemble, so the new can be formed. Although you may feel out of control during such times, you do not need to resist the process. There is no need to attempt to impose your own sense of order upon the greater plan. You do not need to seek solutions, for there is no problem here. There is no problem here in need of solving. Wow, this is a problem and solution reading, and Spirit just straight up said, there is no problem. It's not a problem. And, I think it's fascinating because I looked at this card and I thought there was a lot of different ways I could probably interpret that. But this is probably just you looking on to a problem and feeling overburdened by a problem. But the plan is that it's trying to tell you that there is no problem at all. Basically, if you call yourself in and strengthen yourself and feel the divine light and trust in the faith, and have faith in the universe, in the divine plan, trust in the plan, then you will know that there really is no problem that you need to solve. Just center yourself. Let go of what you need to let go of. But there is no problem that you need to solve. And if you, for instance, thought that your trauma was a problem, it's not a problem that needs to be solved. It's things that it's ways to figure out more about yourself. It's how to dive deep in and get interested in who you are as a person, get rooted in who you are as a person. Find strength, find your true morals and values. So really no problem at all. Have faith, all is well. Trust in an unfolding higher plan. Know that all changes in your life serve for the higher good. The universe knows what you need and is in the process of delivering it to you now. All is happening for a greater purpose. You can flow with the changes in loving trust. Your perfect time for resurrection will follow this deconstruction, and it will occur in the perfect way. Wow. So expect all this burden to be lifted on you, or lifted off of you divinely. And any changes you go through, just know that they are happening for your highest good. So it sounds like you can just forget about those problems. Center yourself and be in the present moment. Know that the greater plan is happening in the favor of all beings, and definitely for the favor of you. Do things for yourself. Do things that make you happy and feel empowered and strong. And I'm going to leave the invocation here if you would like to take a screenshot of that. Put it up there. If you would like to take a screenshot of that to read for later. I think that is everything that I wanted to say today, pile number 3. I hope that resonated for you. We've come to find out in this problem and solution reading that there is no problem. I find that so funny. The divine loves to change our perspective. There really was no problem at all. Only probably lessons to learn. And I'm going to leave all of the decks that I use down below, as well as my tip information and my Amazon wish list. I would really appreciate if you contributed, but it's definitely not necessary. I truly appreciate you watching today, and if you like the video, please definitely feel free to subscribe. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I absolutely love you. Bye. Hello, pile number 4. If you chose this blue goldstone, then this is going to be your reading, and you have way more cards than everyone else. The problem is the King of Pentacles reversed, and I believe that these are also either part of the problem as well, or part of the way that it affects you. I would say this is the problem, and this is the way it affects you. I'm not sure about death yet, and this is what you can do. Perseverance. How it will affect you. You also got more cards than everyone else. And spiritual guidance, you got way more cards than everyone else. You got 3 cards. Let me see if I can fit these on frame. Okay, one of the cards is cut off because you have so many cards. It is the Yin Yang card. You got Door to Spirit Reverse, Storm Warning, and Yin Yang for your spiritual guidance cards. And I'm going to start off with the problem. And the problem is the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles upright typically represents someone who is abundant, who is gracious and very helpful, and definitely spreads their abundance to others and truly enjoys life and feels at peace with themselves. So the reverse, the problem here, is that you probably feel a lack of abundance. Maybe you don't feel like you have enough money. Maybe you don't feel like you have what you need. Or maybe you just don't feel secure. Either way, the problem here in general is just a feeling of lack. Maybe feeling like you're not enough, or that you don't have enough money or otherwise. And part of the problem, or part of the way it makes you feel, or the effect, is the Death card, which represents having to choose a choice, stepping into the light, closing off old doors so that you can walk into new ones. And A way I could read this is that part of the problem is you feel you have to make a choice, or that the way that feeling lack, the way that feeling lack makes you feel, or the way that it affects you, is that it makes you feel like you have to make choices, maybe make choices that you don't want to make, maybe move too quickly, or just possibly feel like you don't know left from right, you don't know which choice to take. Another way I could also interpret this is that you feel like you don't see the light in life. Like, if you're feeling a lack of abundance, then you feel like there's no way that you could be abundant, that you couldn't get to this door of light, that you would never be able to get what you want. And another way that it makes you feel, the moon came out, and the moon to me represents kind of the artist's mindset of being like, occasionally the artist will get kind of lost in the nighttime essence, the moonlight. It's like this place of, I can't say loneliness, but you're just kind of floating. You're just kind of, you don't feel really connected to much. I'm going to read the book and see if there's any specific things that jump out at me. The moon card may carry a suggestion that there are unseen forces at work, mysterious and impossible to foresee. It can indicate someone who is torn between their two natures, tame or wild, practical or creative. Can you embrace them both, or must you choose? Only the moon knows, and she's not telling. So I definitely think that they both came out, the moon and death. They came out for the way that the lack of feeling abundant makes you feel. It's now coming to me that you feel like you have to make a choice between the moon. I said reminds me of like the creative side. So probably your creative side and your side that, you know, is hardworking, part of society that makes money in a normal way. I'm going to say that with air quotes. You can do both. You can make money being an artist. Like, this is just an example, but in this case, you feel you have a choice. That's what the death card represents, a choice. And in this card, it also, in the moon card, it also said, can you embrace them both, or must you choose? So feeling a lack of abundance makes you feel like you have a choice between two sides. And I think that something important to say here is that I don't think that you do have to choose with certain aspects of yourself. You can embrace both of those aspects of yourself fully, and you can be abundant the entire time. Okay, so moving on to what you can do. Perseverance. I think that's kind of obvious. Persevere. Just keep going. If you're feeling like you don't have enough money, just keep working hard. Just keep doing what you can. Try to get the side jobs. Try to get the hobbies going. Try to do what you can. Keep working and take rest when you need. But this is persevering through anything. You can get through it. It's okay. It's okay that you might be feeling like a bit of lack, but the standing line shows you can grow even in the most difficult conditions, even when you are feeling a lack of abundance, like there's a lack of soil here. But the sun will glow on you, you know, the divine is there with you. And the balance is there with you. So if you've been feeling a lack, abundance is coming. Know that, because you will persevere through this. It says, learning to adapt. Dandelion does this amazing thing. When she grows on a lawn that's mowed regularly, she stays short so her flowers pass under the mower's blades. How can you, like Dandelion, adapt to the world around you? What little change can you make that will allow you to thrive in your current situation? If your mood turns sour and you're unable to maintain Dandelion's cheerfulness, ask yourself whether you need a mood adjustment or whether you're pushing up against an obstacle that's taking you off your true path. Remember, perseverance isn't about putting up with untenable situations. It's about knowing the difference between which is difficult but doable and that which is simply unhealthy for your soul. Yes, it's about understanding what makes you feel hurt and then not doing more of that. And it says adapting. So, maybe it's not making a choice. You feel like you have to make a choice, but maybe you can mesh together two options and maybe you can adapt. And if you're feeling this lack, get crafty and figure out what's making you feel this lack of abundance, what's making you feel like you have to choose between what you believe in and who you are as a person. And like maybe this is having a job that doesn't serve you, or having a relationship that doesn't serve you. Whatever it is, get crafty. Figure out ways to change your situation. Figure out ways to mesh ideas and mesh who you are as a person. Don't put up with situations that you can't maintain. But that's not what perseverance is about. It's not about pushing through things that really aren't working. Maybe you can change the way that they're being done. So let's say you really did have a job you hated and then you ask them, I want to work from home more often, etc., etc. This could be for literally anything in your life. These are very general readings so that they can work for you. So if you're feeling this lack and you feel like you have to make a choice and you feel like, with the moon here, it reiterated that, making a choice between two parts of you, then get crafty, get adaptable, mesh parts of yourself, persevere through, just keep going, but only go when the situation is actually right. Like, things can be hard and still be right. Sometimes vending was super difficult for me. Sometimes, packing for a festival or something like that can be really difficult. And then in the long run, I get to go to a festival and it's the most amazing experience of my life. So there are difficult things that have to be done for good things to happen in the future, but it is about figuring out where your priorities lie. And once you do, and once you make this change, I have these two self-care cards that came out for you. First of all, you're going to be spending more time with friends. And look, I love how on this card she has like her tarot cards, drawing, cupcakes, fruit, tea, journaling. You're going to be doing some really deep and fun things with friends. And I think that this just tells me that life's not going to feel so serious. That maybe you won't constantly be feeling like a lack. Maybe you'll find this abundance in the friendships that you have. And another thing that will happen to you is sound healing. So you'll be getting very in tune with sound healing, whether that's music you love, putting on a YouTube video about with these meditation bowls, or even going to an actual sound healing bath. It says, I receive healing energy with grace and ease. So there's that sun coming in. What's going to happen once you kind of adapt and realize that you can grow in these conditions, no matter what they are? You can root in these conditions, finding the good place to root for you. And then you can be healed divinely. And you will be accepting this healing with ease. That's how it's going to affect you. You're going to be easily healed. So expect healing energy to come to you. Ask for healing energy to come to you. Ask how you can mesh together choices that you feel have to be made. If you have a choice between taking a job that you really want and a job that's going to pay really well, figure out how you can, maybe ask for a better pay from the other one, or maybe work at both, or you know what I mean? There are other options, and maybe take the higher paying job and then do work with the other one on the side, or do work with a hobby on the side that still benefits in a different way. There are ways to mesh things together. There are ways to mesh together parts of yourself. Let's say a part of you that you consider like a free spirit, and then the other part of you that you think is more, has your head on straight. And how can you mesh these together? Well, this healing is coming to you to not feel like you have to choose, and accept it. Accept it with grace, and you will be accepting it with divine grace. And you will be getting to spend time with your friends. That's how that's how adapting is going to affect you in this situation. You're going to be getting on a deeper level with people, and a deeper level with yourself. And moving on to additional spiritual advice, starting with the door to spirit reversed. Let's see. You may find yourself feeling extreme disconnect. It seems your intuition is failing, and you can't maintain peaceful moments you are longing for. You may be too distracted by worldly matters or personal problems to arrive and enjoy at a deeper sense of your spiritual connection. The paradox is that the more you can let go of the drama, distractions, or intense emotions, the more your spiritual peace will bring you solutions for these issues. So relax and let go. Meditate on your soul self, your higher self that resides in your own heart center. Allow that connection to grow, and you'll find that many new doors will open as a result. I relax and connect with my spirit's wisdom and power. I live in the peace that my spirit brings, and I know that the world of spirit supports me. Wow. So if there are certain choices, obviously you want to be meshing together certain parts of yourself. But if there are choices that need to be made, just know that spirit can guide you. Reach out. The door to spirit is open. And you feel that you've, had a lack of connection, or maybe a lack of guidance, a lack of abundance. Why me? Why am I not feeling good enough? Why don't I have enough? And the door to spirit card here is to tell you that ask for divine assistance. Ask for help, and it will be yours. Ask for what you want, and it will be yours. Ask what you can do for spirit, and you will be divinely guided. Ask how you can help heal yourself. Ask why you feel certain emotions. I think it's really important that the yin yang is here, because, in this dandelion card, it said something about like, oh, are your emotions sour? Or like in this card, it said like strong emotions. Like, negative feelings exist. It's not a bad thing. Like, these are there to teach you. They're not there to hurt you. What can you learn? Journal it out, write it out, think it out. Why did it happen? Why, what are you supposed to learn? What can you learn from your emotions? But really just know that spirit is there to help you. And the door is open. So just ask. Storm warning. This card indicates a potential difficulty, either in the external world or within yourself and your emotional life. The difficulty is coming closer, and you may have already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be conscious, yet not fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and your intentions. Stand up for yourself and take action on your own behalf. As with all difficulty, even the worst storm passes. Always remember that you have the power and the wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. And yet again, it says, consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and your intentions. So it's very important. Again, I feel like this moon card really was touching on like what you value and like how you can mesh together those parts of yourself and how you can act on those parts of yourself. And with this death card, it's investigating your options and taking the next steps with calm clarity in your mind. And that's what this card is saying. It's also saying that no matter what is thrown at you, that you can get through it, especially if you connect with the door to spirit. If you are connected, the storms will pass through. And fear does happen. It said don't be fearful. You can be fearful. I don't agree with that. Fear is natural. Work through those emotions. Ask fear why it's there, what it can teach you. Actually, that reminds me, right here, I wrote, from the perspective of fear yesterday. I'll read it to you. Fear, I am here. I am just here to warn you. Do not hate me. Someday I may save thee. You are but a star, a beam of light, and I can guide your glow. I won't give up on you now. You have to trust me. I myself do not want to hurt you, only warn you, for you hurt yourself when you fight with me. When your heart beats fast, I am knocking at your door. Just say hello. So I wrote that yesterday from the perspective of fear, because fear is just there to help you. Like, obviously, when I went through a house fire, I was very fearful, and that fear caused me to immediately run downstairs and help my boyfriend and get my animals and call 911, etc. Fear is a good thing. It's there to help you. It's there to save you in really difficult situations. And sometimes it's there when it's not needed, and you can talk to it. You can ask it, why are you here? What can I do to alleviate these symptoms I'm having, this heart beating fast and the constant worrying and things like that. But I just wanted to touch on that. This definitely is a warning. It says, crap is coming. And I think that maybe you know that. But it's not that big of a deal. Like, you can get through it. You will be connected. And it's okay that things come. Because when the storm comes, what happens after the storm? The sun. And that's the yin yang. That's the yin yang of it all. The final card in your reading, yin yang reversed. This card reverse reveals a yang cycle, which is one of active, outgoing energy. This time calls for a more logical approach to things, but the logic needs to be applied to purposeful action. This cycle is often marked by creativity and new beginnings, sometimes with significant outer change. Let yourself apply more forceful energy to the task at hand and take advantage of this highly charged yang time. I am open to understanding the cycle I am in, and I am willing to utilize its energy beneficially. All I need is already part of me. All you need is already part of you, which goes back to the feeling of lack. All you need is already a part of you. And you can call on the divine for any additional assistance. And you can call on the divine to help you with choices, to have you flowing through life in a connected way, in an intuitive way, and figuring out your choices and weighing the options logically, and then taking action. I think that Spirit's final call to you was to take action, to persevere through. That's what how you get through this. Keep going. Keep going. Perseverance. But only keep going with the things that serve you. Take advantage of this time. You will have a lot of energy available to you. Don't wait to be motivated. Just do it. You can give yourself a little pat on the back afterwards. Say, wow, I'm so glad that I did that. This is going to set me up for the future. This is going to make me feel abundant in the future. And something else that's coming through to me, it said on the outer, like in an outward way, that you will be changing. I think that the way you look will be changing. I just wanted to say that as well. Very soon you will maybe change something about yourself, and it will make you feel more empowered, more inspired. I see a lot of creative energy. The moon always reminds me of artists. A lot of like kind of the mysterious headspace of a artist working at night. So kind of expect you to be taking action with these ideas that will be coming to you. Expect to be spending some time with friends. Expect to be listening to music that heals you, or even, like I said, using those a sound healing bath or sound healing on YouTube. This might help you even right now. Maybe there's an abundance frequency that you could put on a YouTube video. I'm absolutely positive that there probably is. I'm going to leave one link down below if I can find it. And I think that is everything that I have for you today. This was a long one. Spirit had a lot of cards to give you today. They doubled up on this section, and tripled up on this section. So it was a little bit long. I hope that you stayed through with me till the end, and I definitely hope that it resonated for you. I will be leaving all of the decks that I use down below, as well as my tip information and my Amazon wish list. It is not necessary to contribute, but absolutely appreciated. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. And if you did like this video, definitely feel free to subscribe. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, pile number 4. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile number 5. If you chose this Mike Wilson patch with the cheetah or leopard on it, then this is going to be your reading. And I took a very long break in between those first 4 piles and this one. Maybe I needed some rest for this reading. And you have a lot of extra cards here in this reading. The first 2 will represent the problem. So the Hanged Man and All Tied Up, which I would imagine pretty much mean the same thing. And then how it makes you feel is the Seven of Swords. What you can do about it, you got 2 cards, pleasure and plan a vacation. And how that will make you feel, the Wheel, wonderful. And final spiritual guidance is Dark Night of the Soul. Okay, starting with the problem here, which is the Hanged Man and All Tied Up. The Hanged Man in tarot kind of represents feeling like you have no choices, or feeling like you're stuck. And it typically represents that, you know, because she has rope here, and then it's untied, so it's like this in many tarot decks. It's like realizing that you felt like you were tied up, but really it was actually completely loose. So really you were the one tying yourself up, basically, in the situation, which, you know, tends to be true, where our minds kind of wander and make situations worse, or, you know, by overthinking or feeling really down about ourselves, we end up thinking ourselves into a situation. And all tied up, it pretty much means the same exact thing. So I guess they wanted to be very clear about this. They got this message from 2 different decks. So I'm going to actually pull out the cards, or pull out the book for this. When you let go of the thing that's got you stuck, you will make space for new insights and vantages to shift into place. Open your heart to the bigger plan, and you'll inadvertently tap into a whole new framework from which you see the world. Know that your path and your dream may look unfamiliar to you after you relinquish the need to direct the outcomes. Surrender to the will of the cosmos and realign your life with its sacred patterns. The universe already know which life-altering lesson is key to your happiness, and your higher self has so much wisdom for you when you intentionally pause to listen. I lean into my inner world of limitless miracles and surrender to the divine will of the cosmos. So I think that this card, no matter what your problem is, you know, if it's feeling stuck or overthinking or overwhelmed, or maybe even so depressed you can't get out of bed, something like that, this just told you a hint at how to deal with this problem. It's to let go of the need to make sure everything goes a certain way, and just tap into your inner knowing, your higher self that has so much wisdom to teach you. So if you don't know how to do that, you can ask to speak with your higher self and wait for an answer. And this has really changed my life to think in this way, to have a higher version of myself talk back when I have questions. It's a really positive change in my life that has allowed me to understand myself on a deeper level and feel more secure in the actions and choices that I make. And going into All Tied Up, this one is probably going to focus more about the problem. This represents a situation in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. So they were very sure to mention that in both cards. So the problem here is that you feel very stuck. A major drama may be going on around you, stopping you from moving forward, or it may be that some technicalities are blocking your way. Perhaps you're waiting for a contract to be signed or an agreement to be made. Whatever is holding things up, these restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. If this isn't technically the case for you, what's tying you up is your own personal stuff. Look at life and see how you can look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. Are you tying yourself up in some emotional angst or in a negative habit that you can refuse to deal with? If so, it's time to cut the vines and make some serious changes now. You needn't live in your self-imposed jail any longer. So this is saying that the problem can be feeling stuck, and that can be due to your own, like I said, the overthinking, depression, things like that. And it can also be due to, let's say, waiting to move into a house and waiting to find a lease, or maybe waiting for a reply from some sort of professional service, like a lawyer or something like that. But either way, the problem is that you're stuck. And the way that it makes you feel is the Seven of Swords. This is from the Wizard Tarot. It's actually my boyfriend's, and I bought it for him. But it doesn't come with a book, so I'm going to have to deduce how this makes you feel without the book. But typically in the tarot, the Seven of Swords represents deceit, someone lying to you, or you lying to someone else, betrayal. And I have a feeling that it's probably more on the like betrayal and pain side of things. I mean, you can even just look at this card. It makes you feel like this card, it feels very like painful. It feels scary and unknown and strange feeling, and like you're in a place you've never been before, and just very quite scary. And it's also possible that someone could be making you feel this way. A particular person could be making you feel like they're betraying you, they're lying to you. Someone is just like a shisty person. You might even feel like everyone around you, this person has many arms. Like maybe it's lots of people. They're all against you. Something along those lines. And sometimes when you have this form of hangman thinking, you don't set boundaries, because you're just kind of hanging there and you don't feel that you can do anything about anything. And oftentimes you overlook the fact that you can set boundaries with people that seem like they might betray you, or you can set boundaries with people that freak you out, scare you, and things like that. But overall, I mean, this is just it's a very scary looking card. And the eyes are closed too. I think that's important to note. So feeling like you can't see the way. Yeah, definitely. I think that's everything I wanted to say for that. So scared, betrayed, feeling like you can't see the way. That's how this stuck energy makes you feel. And what you can do about it is, I pulled out these two self-care cards. We have pleasure. So on this card, it's a woman masturbating. So that's definitely something you can do to try to get those endorphins up. It can definitely help. And then take a shower afterwards, maybe take a walk, a brisk walk. This card also speaks about just enjoying life again. So it starts down to the itty bitty of it all, and You can start by just going and looking in some grass or some leaves, wherever in nature, and look at the small bugs crawling and just look at all of the different things happening. You'll be surprised what happens when you actually like get outside. I'll be like, I need to go see nature, and then like a toad will pop out of nowhere, and then like a raccoon will like run up a pole, and like and things will just be really fascinating out there, and it really kind of makes you have a new sense of inspiration for life again when you see that, wow, these animals don't seem to be too concerned with all of my, problems that I'm facing. Like, look at this pill bug just crawling away. It's not that scary, is it? He doesn't seem frightened, And this card talks a lot about that. It's like just enjoying the senses, the sights, the smells, the sounds, being mindful about the senses. And it can also be like you can create your own like kundalini awakening with pleasing yourself, to put that love inside of you and like intentionally love yourself. You might be able to have like a spiritual breakthrough in that way. Either way, if you are feeling very down, very stuck, it's important that you're doing things that make you happy. Getting outside is very important. And maybe don't worry about like cleaning the house right yet, or something like that. If things have been a little bit hectic, a little messy, you feel like a little stuck, maybe don't worry about that part right yet. And first, take some time to love yourself, to get out of the house, to get a shower, to feed yourself a good meal, and then maybe tackle one or two or three things. Don't push yourself too far. And then the other thing that it says here that can help you is to plan a vacation. Now that's short or long, depending on your budget. You could always just, you don't have to necessarily like take a flight somewhere. You could always try to maybe go camping with someone. And even if you don't have the supplies, you might have somebody in your life that would be willing to drive you somewhere for a day trip, just to get out of the house, just to get away. Depending on your budget, you might be able to plan something a little bit more extravagant. And you can also just put away money for something in the future. Like I have a money jar for going to Japan, and then one for Disney, and then one for like random fun trips. So even if you had maybe in your savings account, like you could say, oh, everything in my savings account, in this savings account is for going to Disney or something, or everything that I put in these stocks will eventually be for going on a trip to Greece. Maybe even if it's in 5 or even 10 years. I know that sounds crazy, but you can start saving now if you feel like you have a very limited budget. I know how the economy is these days. It's not easy to make a lot of money. So if you do want to have these really exciting experiences, it might be this is a calling to you to put some money away, even if it's a little bit, and then take a short trip in the meantime. If there's something been on your mind for planning a vacation, figure it out. Now, even if you feel like you can't afford it, okay? I just want to make sure to say that. Even if you feel like you can't afford it, plan it out. Figure out what you would want. You will find that this will bring you a lot of endorphins. It'll make you feel less stuck figuring out different ways to do things. Like, let's say that you always wanted to go to Thailand. Now look up the flights, look up different things that you are going to do there. What are the different tourist attractions? How long would you stay there? What airport would you fly into? Would you rent a car? Like, figure out every single part. And when you start visualizing what you would do and how much fun you have, it really lets the universe know what types of things you want in your life. And it brings you more of that. It's the law of attraction. And it's how I was able to go to Hawaii. I mean, I just put it on my vision board, and then my friend moved out there, and I was able to go out there for way cheaper than I would have been if I had to stay in a resort or something like that. So there are options out there for you. Even if you think that it's not possible, you can make the universe and the earth work with you and for you for your highest pleasure, for you to go on these magnificent vacations. And when you start doing things like this with like planning a vacation, you'll start realizing that you'll have the ability to do that for other tasks that you feel tied up about, figuring out the different steps, figuring out the different stages. I'm feeling a lot about endorphins. Like, I feel like you need to know that you have to take the first step. Like, even if you're not feeling motivated at all, even if you feel awful and you've been feeling that way for a while, the motivation isn't just going to magically appear. You have to do something that's going to give you the serotonin and endorphins, like taking a brisk walk or painting or, doing something. Maybe other old things weren't giving you the joy they used to. It's time to figure out new things that are going to bring you pleasure. And really, if that means just taking a look at nature on a very microscopic level and going on walks and obviously pleasing yourself, I would say that's a really good way to get the serotonin and endorphins running. And once you have brought some small pleasures into your life and planned a vacation, will definitely make you feel better. And this is just reminding me of planning in general. Like, plan out the steps you need to take to make them into smaller, bite-sized versions of what you can do on a daily or hourly basis. And make sure that you're getting a lot of self-love activities in there. You have to make sure that you're bringing yourself joy. Let's say you were feeling tied up because you were waiting for a house, because that's the situation I'm in right now. You're feeling tied up, you're kind of stuck. I definitely can relate to this. This plan of vacation here will also mean that you're going to be able to move. Now, if that was the thing you were feeling stuck about, it's going to go through for you. It's going to be good for you, especially because we have the wheel here. The wheel is about being on top of the world. It's on the upswing. It's finding those synchronicities and then leading you to the life that you always dreamed of. And this is how this is going to make you feel when you bring that pleasure back into your life, when you start planning things out. And the 10, the wheel, it's like completion. So you're completing a cycle. You'll feel like you got through something once you get out of this like stuck energy, which feels like a problem and probably makes you feel quite scared and like you're walking into the unknown and a bit hectic and chaotic. You're going to find great peace once you bring this pleasure and planning back into your life. Okay, this is how you're going to feel. The wheel. Get ready, sweet soul, for the wheel is about to gift you with divine blessings. Synchronicity is afoot. So look for wonderful new opportunities to propel your life ahead. Be prepared for fortuitous meetings, or a fork in the path that will change everything for the better. If you're open to spotting opportunity, it's yours for the taking. Just follow the breadcrumbs of serendipity and fate towards your happy ending. Remember that the wheel is always spinning, and that things are never the same as they were before. Learn to enjoy this constant regeneration and know that with every spin, we have the chance to cycle upward towards our own expansion and enlightenment. Trying to control the outcome of the wheel of fortune would prove to be impossible, so don't. Grab your lucky dice and see the spinning of the wheel for what it really is. All of the beauty of a lifetime of experiences waiting to spring forth and be lived. I allow transformative energies of fate to help me expand my experience. So if you're feeling stuck, again, let go of the need to control how things are going and just kind of get in tune with that flow. Like the first card said, talking to your higher self and asking for that higher divine guidance. So this will make you feel that way, like being on top of the world and like you're just going with the flow of life and following the, like it said, the breadcrumbs of serendipity to your happy ending. So if you notice things, maybe two different people say the same thing, then you want to look into that. Or if you accidentally get something or you accidentally click on something, whatever it may be, kind of just follow fate. When I accidentally click on a tarot card reading on YouTube, I always watch that one because I feel like it definitely wasn't an accident. In my eyes, really nothing is an accident. It's all fate. It all was supposed to happen. And like it said in one of these cards, like the universe knows exactly what difficult situations you need to go through to make you you, and to learn and to grow. And like sometimes the wheel will be reversed, but not after this situation. It did say, like, you accept that's it goes round and round, that things change, and that's part of what you need to do, I think, with this planning and this pleasure. Also, the way you'll feel is on top of the world, but I think that the wheel also tells you a little bit on what you need to do, which is this acceptance, that things just go the way that they go. For instance, maybe like with my house, it's like a lot of houses have fallen through for me, and then I just accept that wasn't the house for me. It wouldn't have been perfect for me. It wouldn't have been right for me. And I just keep looking, never getting caught up on one thing or the next. Just keep going and keep being in the moment. And it can feel overwhelming. This card might also point to that this like stuck feeling can also be a feeling of like it's all coming at you at once, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you're all tied up, and that there are things that you can do about it. You can help yourself. You can make yourself feel better. You can plan things that will make you happy. You can kind of let go. Realize that a lot of the case is you tying yourself up. And I know that's not always the easiest thing to hear, but the good thing about the fact that you tie yourself up sometimes is that it can be fixed. It can be fixed with your own inner work and helping yourself and learning to love yourself. And when you are knowing that it comes from, an internal stressor, because, this could be external and internal at the same time. I would definitely say this stuck feeling. When you know that parts of the problem are internal, you can do work on yourself, to help yourself. You can figure out different ways to slow the mind through meditation, finding different practices like journaling and reading and art therapy and listening to music, and just find what works for you, making sure to get that shower, maybe getting that nature walk in, getting out with your friends, and, getting out of the city, maybe getting out of your town, and getting into nature on a really deep level, seeing the inner workings, and that, wow, it's all working. Look at it. All these little bugs, they're just crawling, and they just exist. And that's so beautiful. The wheel kind of talks about that too. It's like that interconnectedness. And I think that that's what you need to find in order to help yourself in this stuck feeling, is taking a look again at the interconnectedness. And I would definitely recommend the book, The Power of Now. I'm reading that right now. It's a really good book. And I also read A New Earth. Both really great reads. The Power of Now talks a lot about slowing the mind and getting yourself to a level of letting that inner wisdom talk if it has something to say, or just completely silencing the mind through trying to tune in with that light side of you that doesn't need to constantly label and to chit chat and talk and judge and overthink and worry. Just the part of you that is really viewing that part. There's another side of you that exists, the side of you that isn't talking and thinking, and it doesn't have to be like that inside of your brain, a constant worry, constant thinking, constantly feeling stuck or like something's working against you. When you slow down and you get to that no mind state, and you get to that white light kind of just floating there state, you can go back into the world with fresh eyes and a fresh mind, and you see tasks from a different perspective. And I think that that's a really important part of this reading as well, is when you are the hanged man, it's important to look from above, look from a connected state, and you will see things in a different way. And moving on to your final spiritual advice, the dark night of the soul. Now, the dark night of the soul, it represents really feeling like you are all alone. And I mean, you can see this person in the bottom. I've been there, I've cried my eyes out in the shower thinking, no one's there to help me. I have to do this all alone. And why does nobody understand me? And, it's something very spiritual to go through. And, it accompanies with this hanged man feeling kind of lost, kind of stuck, kind of alone. The dark night of the soul is a bit even deeper than that. Really at the darkest depths of feeling completely alone. And I just want you to know that that's not true. It brings you into this state of connectedness, going through such a struggle. See how it's like the phoenix reborn. She's curled up in a ball, and then her spirit is then to this woman who is completely connected to the version of her that is looking up to the light, because you feel so alone, and then you realize, wow, we're all one, and I can be fully connected. And people may not act like they are connected or know that they are connected, but I can know that. And let's look at The Dark Night of the Soul, the book. You are ready for a more real and radiant relationship with the divine. Your preconceived ideas and safe limiting beliefs may be sacrificed in order for this to happen. To the divine, these are only clothing of your spirits. They're impediments to the absolute intimacy the divine seeks with you. You might feel vulnerable or uncertain as the divine goes about stripping away these barriers. This is when you enter the dark night of the soul. You understand there is nothing to rely on but the divine, and you will find it difficult to trust at times. But the night will end, however, and the sweetness of the divine dawning in your heart shall render it all worthwhile. But for now, you are meant to feel exactly as you feel. You are not doing something wrong. You are moving closer to the divine. Yes, so through these difficult times, it makes you turn to reaching out to a higher source. And when you do that, you will feel on top of the world. Though it begins as a challenge, the dark night of the soul will become a saving grace. Love knows you are ready. No matter what you may think at this moment of struggle, you are ready to take this spiritual test and emerge more in love with the divine than ever. Remember, this is an advanced initiation and therefore challenging at a profound spiritual level. Therefore, get some support. Even though you walk the path alone, another can help bear witness to your process and remind you that you are on a noble path of empowerment, love, and truth. Also, although you may feel your guidance has abandoned you, in truth they are with you ever more closely, whispering words of encouragement, hope, and love. Look for the love within, and let it guide you, and through the dark night. It will lead you faithfully and in perfect divine timing into the light of your sweetest morning. Well, that just reminded me too that it's like, this is like finding love from within and then finding love from without. So pleasure and plan a vacation. I thought that was kind of interesting. So it did also talk about reaching out. It definitely helped me when I was going through a portion of my life where I felt like absolutely no one would understand what I was going through, with feeling connected, feeling like everyone was one, and feeling like there wasn't really time or space and everything was really one, and it's all just kind of different realities of the same exact thing, and seeing the interconnectedness and speaking everything into reality, until I spoke with someone and did a tarot card reading and realized that someone else felt the same way. And ever since then, I've realized more and more people understand what I'm talking about, to the point where I felt that I needed to do tarot card readings online, because it might make somebody feel less alone to know that this is a normal occurrence for people that are very spiritual to go through the dark night of the soul, to feel the interconnectedness, to feel even at times that they are controlling things, or things are too synchronicitous, or even sometimes they feel like they can hear voices or something like that. Just know that you are not alone, and it is not a bad thing. It is a good thing, in fact, to be connected and to feel that connection. And I'm going to leave the invocation on the screen so you can screenshot that if you would like. And you can say that out loud. Maybe it will help you. You could say that before bed and ask to connect. Ask to connect with the divine. Ask for assistance. Ask for, if you believe in angels, if you believe in God, if you believe in some other deity or higher form, if you want to talk to your higher self, more interconnected to self, anything that's a higher level being, ask to connect, ask for them to help you, ask for you to help yourself, ask what you can do to help yourself, ask, sometimes it's counterintuitive. They'll be like, slow down, don't work so hard. And, like this, it said, plan a vacation, pleasure yourself. Like, you would think there was something very deep and internal and and horrendous that you have to do to deal with maybe this feeling. But in reality, all you have to do is, water your plant of yourself, give yourself a little love and care, tend to yourself, and you'll see that you'll feel on the upswing and on top of the world, and you'll get through this. If you're feeling this dark night of the soul, really feeling very alone, very misunderstood, you will get through that by reaching out for divine guidance, and wait to listen to the reply. Follow the synchronicities. If you notice a book and it really jumps out to you, maybe read it. Maybe it has some divine knowledge in there for you. If a video is really speaking to you, maybe jumping out to you, you've seen it a couple times, maybe watch that video. Maybe it has really important information in there for you. Just kind of follow what kind of piques your inner wisdom, your intrigue, your highest self. When you connect with your higher self, it will tell you through intuition and guide you to what will make your life worth living, and a great life that's exciting and has lots of vacations and pleasure involved. And I think that is everything I have for you today, pile number 5. I hope that this reading resonated for you. It's definitely an interesting one and a little unique, I would say. And I'm going to leave all the decks that I use down below, as well as my tip information and Amazon wish list. I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch today. It really means a lot to me. If you do like my videos, definitely feel free to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I do try to post every week, sometimes missing a week here and there, but I do try to post every week, so I have new videos coming all the time, and you might see another one on my page that jumps out at you, and it has some really good information in there for you. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I absolutely love you, pile number 5. Bye.